Who else we got? Oh, this is...
When you turn 20 of the country's best bass anglers loose on a 55-acre bass-filled impoundment, the fish catching is predictable. It's also awesome. Team that up with a visit by the President of the United States, and you have a whale of a tournament. Specifically, it's the Eagles of Angling, a one-day event staged to fund a sanctuary for the Pentlala, Alabama Baptist Church. And for the anglers and sponsors gathered here at Ray Scott's home, anticipation runs high. One reason is that President Bush is en route. Another is that seldom do bass anglers get to cast a lure in a fishery this great. Why is it so good? Let Ray Scott explain.
Today we're at my hometown of Pentlala, Alabama, a crossroads community about 12 miles south of Montgomery. This lake you're looking at is a 55-acre lake that I built over the past 8 or 9 years, really. Been working on it. It took 2.5 years for it to fill. I built this for a competition lake to try to provide the very best 55-acre fishing water that could be imagined. What you're going to see today is unique. This is a 10-hole concept where we've broken this lake up into 10 distinct divisions or sections. And we'll have 10 boats, one boat on each of the 10 holes, and they'll fish for 30 minutes, after which they'll rotate to the next hole. Now, this is unique in the sense that we've got only 55 acres, but because the lake has been built like it is with all the structural components, this is going to make for some tremendous competition. You're going to see some great fishing, you're going to see some great fishermen, and you're going to see the President, George Bush, come forth and do his thing out here in competition. It's going to be a great day. We'll be right back in just a minute.
This is the third annual Eagles of Angling Tournament, a gathering of 20 great bass anglers who pay $5,000 to fish this event. The anglers, 2 to a boat, compete as teams, and they're accompanied by one of the many sponsors. First place is $25,000, followed by $15,000 for second and $10,000 for third. This Eagles of Angling lineup is impressive. Bass Pro Charlie Campbell and Johnny Morris, president of Bass Pro Shops. Last year's Eagles of Angling champions, Guy Aker and Charlie Ingram. Bill Schrader, a longtime fishing friend of Ray Scott's, and Schrader's son, Bill Jr. Former Bassmaster Classic champs, Jack Chancellor and Paul Elias. Past Bassmaster Classic champ, Tommy Martin, teamed with the hottest newcomer on the BASS tournament trail, Kevin Van Dam. Two-time Bassmaster Classic champion, Hank Parker, and pro angler Junie Copley. The founder of Ranger Boats, Forrest Wood, fishing with television personality Jerry McInnes. 1991 Bassmaster Classic champ Ken Cook, and BASS pro David Gregg. Former Bassmaster Classic champion Guido Hibden, fishing with his son Dion. And all-time bassin great Roland Martin, paired with television host Orlando Wilson. The anglers fish each marked hole for 30 minutes, then rotate to the next hole. The pros and their sponsor partners may weigh in 8 bass per boat, but there's a catch: the no-cull rule. If a bass is put in the live well, it must stay there till weigh-in. Even if a larger bass is caught, a smaller one cannot be culled. Last year, Roland Martin and Orlando Wilson drew the honors of fishing with President Bush, an experience Roland will never forget.
Last year, I really kind of felt like I won the tournament, and the fact that I drew the president. We had the dart throwing contest, and that all worked out. So I was so euphoric. I mean, catching fish was secondary, but really whoever draws the president is going to have a problem, because you have 2 Secret Service boats in front of you with an ambulance boat close at hand, and then almost half the holes you have 5 or 6 or 8 people on the bank, tromping along the bank and shaking the bushes, and people holding on to stuff and crawling out everywhere. And so with all that commotion, plus just being nervous being with the president. You know, whoever draws the president probably won't catch very many fish.
This year, the privilege goes to Charlie Ingram and Guy Aker. They made the lucky draw. And what's Charlie's game plan for fishing with the president?
We watched him fish last year. I mean, you know, he's a very active caster. He probably made as many casts as anybody in this tournament last year. And so, you know, if we can just take advantage of his energetic abilities, then I think it's going to be beneficial for us and him too. So that's our plan to do that.
The president will arrive later, but he sent a personal representative to kick off the first round, his son, George Jr. What's Guy Aker's reaction to fishing with the president and his son?
We're shooting to win it. I mean, you know, I'm tickled to death to get to fish with George Jr. and the president, but I just like to win it for both of them too.
And what is the younger George Bush expecting today?
Well, first I'm expecting to learn how to fish better. Our family, we always try to surround ourselves with people smarter than we are and people who are better experts. And I know in my baseball team I try to get the very best baseball minds there are, because I know my limitations. And to fish with two pros like Charlie and Guy is not only a thrill, but it's going to be a great learning experience, not only for me, but for my dad. And so I'm really looking forward to it, and been looking forward to it for a long time.
The tournament is underway. This first hole the Hibdons are fishing is called Cabin Cove. It's one of the smaller areas, but in the past, one of the more productive spots. With the no-cull rule, the quicker a small bass is boated and released, the better. And this one Dion has a hold of makes it to the boat in near record time. The catching's fast here on Ray Scott's Lake. This first hour's action for Orlando and Roland puts them in a front-running position. Keeping the wrong bass can hurt a team later, but at this stage of the tournament, fish this size can't do anything but help. Back to the Hibdons. In the past 15 minutes, this father-son team has boated some 10 bass. This one looks like a keeper. Another rule for this tournament is that once an angler hooks a bass, the other team members must stop fishing. Once a bass is in the boat, they can start fishing again. This is the first year the Hibdons have fished the Eagles of Angling tournament. Guido said earlier he doesn't usually get nervous about anything, but today is different because the president's coming. Right now, though, it doesn't seem to be bothering him. Guy Aker's team is also scoring this first hour. With the knowledge of the huge bass in this lake, every strike is a heart-stopper. Guy and Charlie said earlier they were going to give it 100% and try to make it back-to-back wins. They're going to have to find the big ones if this bass Roland is fighting is any indication as to what's in his live well. Last year, this team fished with the president and finished last. They vowed that wouldn't happen again. And from the way things are looking so far, they'll be far from last. Both Orlando and Roland, along with Toyo Shimano of the Shimano Corporation, are casting crankbaits, and they're working. Here's a good bass for Hank Parker, but is he making a mistake? The scales will tell. Former Bassmasters Classic champ Jack Chancellor, fishing with Paul Elias and John Charlotte, president of Brunswick Marine, is hooked up to a good bass. This tournament also has a no-net rule, like in all Bassmaster tournaments. This is the critical time because more big bass are lost at the boat than at any other time during the fight. George Bush Jr. connects. He's no newcomer to fishing and in fact is an avid bass angler like his well-known father. This one won't go in the live well, but on this lake, a strike could just as easily mean a 10-pounder. Another bass for the Hibdon boat. Dion and Guido have a good creel so far, but they haven't landed any real heavyweights. The Bassmasters will be right back from Pentlala, Alabama with President Bush and the Eagles of Angling tournament. Don't go away.
Just regular old crankbait?
The team of Martin, Wilson, and Shimano is fishing the Chevy hole, which Ray Scott confided earlier was his favorite area. Somewhere below the surface, there's an old Chevy truck that big bass like.
got the good one? Here. Just, don't let him break the line. Here, let me get you out. Let me get you out. Here. I'm gonna get it. Come out this way. Come out this way. We gotta move. Gotta move. That's the big fish of the tournament right there. Big fish of the tournament, boys. Big fish of the tournament. Big fish of the tournament, son! Oh, hey, Toyo! Toyo the man! Done got him a hogger fish! Son! Woo! Oh!
Brunswick's John Charbot has a good bass on. He's an accomplished bass angler and knows how to handle big fish. This one will go in the live well, a 5-pounder better contribution to the Chancellor Elias weigh-in bag. Roland, Orlando, and Toyo have moved to the Buddha Hole, just south of where Toyo caught his big bass. This is the area where Ray Scott landed a 12-pounder just 2 weeks ago. And this is no lightweight. It looks as though crankbaits are doing the job. In a pre-spawn stage like now, crankbaits are a good choice anywhere. An obvious advantage to crankbaits is that the angler covers more water than he would with a worm or jig.
That's a big one.
He was right there.
The moment everyone's been waiting for. The president is here. President Bush is a good friend of Ray Scott's and has fished here on several occasions. After an informal lunch on the bank, renewing old acquaintances and making new ones, the president meets with his team members, Charlie Ingram and Guy Aker.
What are we going to do? We're going to let you fish a worm just a little bit slower.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
That's what Brent did last year.
Right.
There's a lizard down there. And he
The Cactus Hill Hole is the same area where Rick Clunn caught his monster bass 2 years ago. And in any body of water, big fish tend to stay in the same place. And from the looks of the splash, Charlie Ingram has latched onto another monster. It's big bass like this that make the difference at weigh-in.
I don't know.
And here's one for the president. It's his first bass of the tournament. He too is throwing a crankbait.
Get that plug.
The wind has turned to the north this afternoon, and the action has slowed. But with as many bass as there are here, some still bite. Like this one for the president.
How are you?
He's an avid angler and enjoys both freshwater and saltwater fishing.
Yeah. You throw him around here. I'll take him out. Throw him around here.
Whoa, what a fish! Oops. But here's one for the team that stays hooked up. President Bush scores again. It's his fourth bass of the day, and he's a-liking it.
He got a good. No, he ain't got that. I don't think. Huh?
I'll let you record that.
Hold it up. You hold it up.
Minor time 2.
As the hundreds of spectators await the president's arrival at the Pentlala Baptist Church, they're entertained by Soji Tabuchi, an internationally acclaimed fiddle player. The Bassmasters will be right back from Pentlala, Alabama, and the weigh-in for the Eagles of Angling. Stay tuned.
Who's going to beat that? Hold up a couple of big.
The tournament is over, except for the weigh-in. President Bush, his son, and teammates ride to the platform bass boat style.
Let's have a nice hand for the president, folks. Charlie Ingram and Guy Akers, two great professional bass fishermen. Mr. President, welcome to Pentlala.
Glad to be back in Pentlala. Glad to see the development of this church. And my son and I are glad to be here with these wonderful pro fishermen. They are the best. Thanks for the welcome.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, come on, George Jr., come on. I want to get a comment from you before we weigh these bass. Now, you took the first half of the game because your dad was tied up. But what's it like to fish with these guys, like the two guys here, Charlie Ingram and Guy Akers?
These guys are the best fishermen in the country. It's also great to fish with your dad, and that's what fishing's all about. That's what happened to me today, and thank God that he was here. We appreciate this Alabama welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, George. You want to stick around a second while your dad weighs these first fish? All right. We'll weigh the creel. First, the creel. Watch the scales, and you'll note the scoreboard indicator right here will tell you the exact weight. Call it, do it. Mr. President, what do you got? 24 pounds, 0 ounces. That's it. 24-0. Let's give him a nice hand. Now, let's hold a big bass up. You notice we keep alive, folks. Hold it tight. Hold the fish up, boys. This is a fine largemouth bass. Just lay it down nice and easy. Oh, here. All right. Here we go. Watch the scale. Call it, Mr. President.
12 pounds. Whoops. Drinking. 12 pounds. Hurry up.
12 pounds even. Get it off. What a fish. Tell us what it's like to spend a day with a guy that's head of the country.
It was a great pleasure to fish with the president of this country, and a great honor to do that. And I feel real grateful just to be here and be able to do that.
I'll tell you, last year, this is a great thrill to come down and, and build a church. Good Lord's been good to me and Charlie and all of us fishermen. And last year, it was a thrill to win this tournament. And I said, on this stage last year, it was a thrill to be able to fish in a tournament and fish with the President of the United States. Well, this year we was lucky and drew the President of the United States, so this has fulfilled everything that I've thought about as far as fishing since I've been 4 years old.
And now the team everyone has been waiting to see. They've got the big bag. Roland and Orlando are accompanied by teammate General Brent Scowcroft, who replaced Toyo Shimano in the afternoon round.
8 bass, all right. Brent Scowcroft, of course, carried his part of the load as always.
Not really. Y'all ready? Here we go. The big moment. 47 pounds, 1.
All-time new record, 47 pounds and 1 ounce. That's more than, so 13 pounds roughly. Everybody get a big bass. You get one, Brent. And Mr. President can have one too. Hold them up tight, Orlando. Hold him tight now. Don't drop him. One quick photo. That is, I would have never dreamt it. What was that weight again? 47 pounds and 1 ounce. Orlando Wilson, as little as you are, you make that bass look like a whale. We'll put the basket up there, Mr. President. If you want to call this weight, Mr. President.
11-2. 11-2.
And the winning team, the champions of the 1992 Eagles of Angling, Roland Martin, Orlando Wilson, Toyo Shimano, and General Brent Scowcroft, with a record weight of 47 pounds and 1 ounce.
Folks, we want to thank all of you. It's been a fantastic day, one that you could have prayed for and not got a better one. You've been kind to come. We appreciate God, and we appreciate all the blessings that we enjoy here in this community and across this country. This guy here, he's been a friend of fishermen so long, and we want you to remember him and hope he'll come back with us next year.
Well, thank you all, and let me just say to the people of Pentlal and the neighboring communities, you really have a wonderful way of making your guests feel at home, and so may God bless you all, and thanks for the welcome.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Godspeed.
The Eagles of Angling Tournament is a fundraising event for the new Pentlala Baptist Church. This year, the tournament raised $344,500 for the $1 million building project. Next week, the Bassmasters will be at Bull Shoals Lake for the Arkansas Bassmaster BP Top 100 Tournament. You'll follow the rod-to-rod action as the anglers go after spawning and post-spawn bass. See you all next week, right here. And the Bass Angler Sportsman Society, the world's largest bass fishing organization.
Ha ha ha!